Alright, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Greetings everyone. Okay, so for today's lesson, we're going to look at the textbook, page 24, 26, and 26 to 39. Okay, for this week's lesson, we're going to look at unity and coherence first, yeah. Okay, you can look at your textbook, it's page 24. Right, like I said, we're going to focus on the unity part. Okay, as mentioned earlier, a key element in a well-written paragraph is unity. A unified paragraph will focus on one main idea. For example, if you are writing an essay about the advantages of different kinds of pain medication, you might have a paragraph about the advantages of taking aspirin. In your paragraph, you should discuss only the advantages of aspirin. Do not discuss the disadvantages or begin to discuss other kinds of medicine. So, what it wants you to know is that when you're writing an essay, please remember that paragraph is reserved for one point only. So this is what unity means. Okay, for example, you want to talk about pain medication, which is aspirin. So make sure in your paragraph you only talk about aspirin. Okay, in that paragraph, that particular body paragraph, you only can talk about aspirin. You cannot talk about paracetamol. You cannot talk about the disadvantages or whatever. You can only talk about the advantages of aspirin if you decide to talk about advantages of aspirin. So this is what it means by unity. Only talk about one issue, only talk about one topic in that particular paragraph. You want to talk about something else which is related to the topic, make sure it's done in the next paragraph, not in that paragraph. Because why? You have reserved it to write about only about the advantages of aspirin. So this is what it means by unity. Alright? Okay. So, if you are writing an entire essay about the advantages of taking aspirin, then discuss only one advantage, such as heart health, in each paragraph. If you begin to discuss another advantage, please start a new paragraph. Okay, so like I said, if you decided that you only want to talk about the advantages of aspirin, so please make sure you only talk about the advantages of aspirin in that one paragraph. Okay, so that is the first point of unity. Second feature of unity is that every supporting sentence must directly explain or prove the main idea. Okay, so for example, in a paragraph about the high cost of prescription drugs in the United States, you can mention buying generic brands as an alternative to brand name drugs. But if you write several sentences about how generic drugs are made, you are not writing about the same idea. That means, okay, alright, so this is your first task. Explain to me what is unity and what are the two features of unity, and give me an example. Okay, alright, so record yourself, video record yourself. Tell me what is unity. Alright, what are the two features of unity, and give me an example of a unity, of a good unity in a paragraph. Okay, alright. So we're looking at page number 25 right now of the textbook. Okay, alright, so let's look at practice number 2, staying on topic. These paragraphs contain one or more sentences that are off topic. So what I want you to do is underline the topic sentences and cross out any sentences that are off topic. Okay, so this is a second task for you. Look at paragraph 1. Okay, look at paragraph 1 of practice number 2, page 25. Okay, look at only paragraph 1. Identify for me which one is the off-topic sentence. Okay, maybe in your video you can indicate to me which sentence starts with the sentences that are off-topic. That means off-topic means it does not talk about the same issue anymore. It has gone all over the place and it's not talking about the issue that we talked about in the topic sentence. Alright, okay. Okay, so for practice number 2, I just want you to look at paragraph number 1. Okay, Alright. Let's look at page 26, coherence. Okay. Alright, so just now we talked about unity. So coherence is another aspect of a good paragraph. Okay. Although paragraph unity is important, it is not the only factor that you need to consider in writing a successful paragraph. Now, in order for paragraphs to be well structured, they must also be coherent. Now, the word coherence comes from the Latin verb cohere, which means to hold together. And for coherence in writing, the sentences must hold together. That is, the movement from one sentence to the next must be logical and smooth. So this is what it means by coherence. You have to make sure the movement of ideas from sentence number 1 to sentence number 2 is clear and smooth, and that you are able to show to your readers how the movement from sentence number 1 to sentence number 2, so that they can see the link between the two sentences, between the two ideas. There must be no sudden jumps. Okay, sudden jumps here means that, for example, in the first sentence, you're talking about how to bake a cake. And suddenly, second sentence, you talked about how to fix a car. So how does fixing a car relate to baking a cake? So this is what I mean by no coherence in paragraph writing. Okay, so each sentence should flow smoothly into the next one. Okay. So these are the 4 ways for you to achieve coherence. Number 1, repeating key nouns. Number 2, using consistent pronouns. Number 3, using transition signals. Yes, very important. And arranging your ideas in logical order. Okay. Alright, so tell me. Okay, task number 2. Tell me in your own word, what is coherence? Okay, and tell me how can you achieve coherence, meaning give me an example based on my next lecture. You will listen to me. Okay, alright. If you look at page 27, okay, repetition of key nouns. Alright, the easiest way to achieve coherence, okay, step number 1, repetition of key nouns, is to repeat key nouns. In this paragraph, the repetition of the noun fear smooths the flow of sentences and creates coherence. Okay. If you look at page 27, okay, the first paragraph here. Alright, so this is a paragraph with coherence. When worry escalates, the result is fear. Everyone has experienced fear. A swimmer of only moderate skill might be afraid of swift waters. A child might fear the dark. A hiker will probably feel fear when hearing the distinctive warning of a rattlesnake. A jogger might experience it when confronted with an angry dog. According to the author Norman Cousins, fear creates negative expectation. One tends to move in the direction of one's expectation, etc., etc. So, if you look at example given here, you know already the word fear is repeated a number of times throughout the paragraph. So you know that the word fear is the key idea in the paragraph. And you know that the author is focusing on the idea fear. Alright? Okay, so when you repeat key nouns, it helps you and the readers to understand better what this paragraph is all about. So upon reading this paragraph, you know, and I think you can understand already what the author is trying to focus on, which is fear. Okay. Okay, if you look at the example, the second example here, this one, the paragraph without coherence. Alright, let's see. It says, when worry escalates, the result is fear. Everyone has experienced it. Okay, so for the first time, if you change the word fear into the pronoun it, yes, maybe people can still remember. But if you only mention the word fear one time, meaning in the topic sentence only, you only mention a fear in the topic sentence once, and then the next sentences in that paragraph, you do not mention the word fear anymore. Do you think that you or the reader will understand what it refers to if you do not repeat it a number of times? For example, according to the author, it create negative, it it. So it here, people tend to forget what it refers to. So what you have to do in order to create coherence, please repeat the word fear a number of times. I don't mean to say that every time you have to say fear, fear, fear. No. You can use the pronoun it, but make sure once you use fear, you follow it by it, so that people know what to relate it to. So they know it refers to fear. And then after you use it, you can use fear some more. So that people are kept reminded of the word fear referring to it. Okay? Alright, so explain to me what is repeating key nouns and how do you use it. Okay, so alright, first task is now explain to me what is unity. Second task, explain to me what is coherent. Okay. Third task, explain to me how do you repeat key nouns. Give me an example. Alright. Okay, let's look at page 29. Okay, page 29. Key noun substitute. Okay, although repeating keywords can make a paragraph more coherent, but you do not want to repeat the same word too often. So this is what I mean. For example, like I said, you have to repeat the key noun fear, right? But I do not suggest that you use the word fear all the time, meaning no pronoun whatsoever. You have to change the word fear into a pronoun at some point of your paragraph, but make sure it's moderate, meaning you use fear and then you use it to express the pronoun of fear, and then you use fear some more. So make it moderate, yeah. Okay. So you can substitute synonyms or expression with the same meaning if you do not wish to repeat a keyword again and again. Pronouns, when used correctly, are also good substitute. Okay, so for example, you can find another synonym or substitute for the word fear. For example, scared, okay, or terrified. So this is another synonym for fear. So when you are writing your essay, please take note that you can also substitute it with other synonyms or the pronoun it. But make sure you repeat these key nouns enough for your readers to understand, right? Okay, practice number 5. We'll do this in the next class. Okay, let's look at page 30. Consistent pronouns. Okay, so this is another technique for you to ensure coherence is there in your paragraph writing. Okay. Alright. So how to use consistent pronoun is when you use pronouns, make sure that you use the same person and number throughout your paragraph. For example, don't change from you to he, or change your person, or from he to they, change of number. For example, you're referring to only one person, which is Ali. Okay, so Ali is a singular noun, only one person, right? So the correct pronoun for Ali is he. Okay, so make sure you only use the correct pronoun to represent Ali, which is he. Do not go changing he into they or she. So this is not consistent usage of pronoun, and this is not a good way to show coherence in paragraph. Okay, alright, so if you look at the example given on page 30, right here, this one, okay, okay, if you look at page 30, the root of a word is their most basic part. Okay, so this is wrong. You say already the root of a word, only one word. So how come you use the pronoun they? It should be its. Okay, so make sure you know which pronoun to substitute for the noun. For example, he. So the pronoun is singular. That means it's referring to a one person. If you say Ali and Abu, so the pronoun should be they, no longer he, because you're referring to a plural pronoun. Alright? Okay, so you can look at the example given there. The textbook has already fixed the correct pronouns that you should use in the paragraph. Okay, so make sure you use consistent pronoun. Because task number 4, explain to me how do you make sure you use consistent pronouns in a paragraph and ensure coherent, and give me an example. Okay. Alright. Page number 31. Transition signals. Okay. Okay. Alright, so another element of a smooth and coherent paragraph is the use of transition signals. Okay, I think I cannot stress enough the importance of transition signals. So please remember that transition signals are very important for you to ensure that there is smooth transition or movement from one idea to another. Okay, so transition signals can be single words such as first, finally, and however, or phrases such as in conclusion, on the other hand, and as a result. So there are three different kinds of transition signals, such as subordinators. Okay, that's number 1. Coordinators, number 2, and number 3, prepositions. Alright, so please remember these 3 forms of transition signals. Alright, okay, another paragraph there. Transition signals are like traffic signs. They tell your reader when to go forward or turn around or slow down and stop. In other words, they tell your readers when you are presenting, for example, a similar idea, an opposite idea, or giving them an example, a result, or a conclusion. So each time you want, for example, you want to give them a result or an example or an idea which is in contrast, you use transition signal, because this help your readers to understand the flow of your idea better. Alright, transition signals give a paragraph coherence because they guide your readers from one idea to the next. So this is why transition signals are very important. Okay, so of the practices, we'll do this in the next class. We'll discuss the answers together. Alright, so please make sure you read your textbook and practice and complete the practices. We'll discuss the practices together. For today's class, I'm just going to give the theories to you. Alright, so task number 5, explain to me what are transition signals. What are the 3 major, components of transition signals? Alright, and tell me what is the function of transition signals. Alright, okay. Right. Okay, let's look at page number 32. Right, transition phrases and conjunctive adverbs. Okay, most of the transition phrases and conjunctive adverbs in the transition signals chart can appear at the beginning, in the middle, or at the end of an independent clause. Independent clause refers to something or a sentence that can stand alone. They are usually set off by commas. You may remember that an independent clause is a group of words that contain a subject and a verb and expresses a complete thought. Yes, an independent clause means it can stand alone. The sentence can stand alone, meaning the sentence is complete on its own. Okay, alright. So if you look at the example given here, page 32, alright, here. Okay, so for example, the Baltic Sea in Northern Europe is the only 1/4 as saline as the Red Sea in the Middle East. Right, so this is what it means. When you use transition signal, it can come at the beginning, or it can come in the middle, or it can come at the end of the sentence. Okay, if you want to give an example, maybe you can start your sentence with, for example. Alright, if you want to give additional information, then you can use the transition signal, furthermore, or in addition, in the middle part of the sentence. It doesn't matter. Alright, and then you can also put your transition signal at the back, but just to ensure that your readers understand the flow of idea from from A to B, you make sure you have to include transition signals. It doesn't matter where you put it, whether at the beginning, middle, or end. Alright, okay. So exception: the word and phrases in the groups for listing in ideas in order, introducing a conclusion or summary, and introducing a result usually appear. Alright, so there are exceptions. Remember I said when you can put your transition signals anywhere, whether beginning, middle, or end. Okay, there are also exceptions, meaning some type of sentences you have to refer to the given guideline. Meaning, for example, you want to introduce a conclusion. You want to introduce a conclusion or summary, or introduce a result, or or the introduction part of a sentence, you must put the transition signal at the beginning part only. Okay, again, if you want to give you want to explain or you want to introduce to your readers that this is a summary, this is a conclusion, or this is a introductory part of the sentence, or this is a result of my finding, whatever. So you have to make sure the transition signals can only appear at the beginning part of the sentence. Yeah. Okay, so this is the exception. Okay, the word to. In Malay we say juga, to, T-O-O, usually appears only at the end of the sentence. Yes. Okay, so you have to make sure the word to only appears at the end of the sentence. You cannot say to at the beginning of the sentence. Doesn't work that way. Okay, sometimes preceded by a comma. That means you write your sentence and then put comma to. Right. Next, the time, words, then, now, and soon. Usually you don't need commas. Okay, so if you want to include the transition signals which shows time, okay, so you don't have to put comma. So you have to remember this exception part. This is on page 32. Please remember, yeah. Okay, on page 33, you will see the table and the transition signals that you can use in your paragraph writing. So this table will tell you the function of transition signals. Remember, in our last class, I told you each transition signals have different function. So you cannot simply or randomly use whatever transition signals that you feel like is the correct form of transition signal to use. No, you can't do that. You have to understand the function before you can say or before you can write it in your paragraph. Okay, if you look at page 33, right,